Debt isn't just a number, it's an invisible weight you carry in your chest. It's that feeling of waking up tired even when you've done nothing, of seeing your phone ring and feeling your heart race, of living with the sense that time itself is working against you. But what few people talk about is that getting out of debt isn't just about money, it's about mindset. Because the road to financial freedom doesn't start with your bank statement, it starts in your head. And if you try to solve a debt with the same mentality that created it, the cycle never ends. The problem is, the world teaches you to chase income, but never peace. And in the end, what truly suffocates you isn't the bill, it's the mental noise that comes with it. Today, we're ranking the 10 best strategies to overcome debt without losing your peace. No magic formulas, no empty promises. This is about balance, awareness, and, above all, regaining control of your own life. So hit that like button and get ready, because the first step to getting out of the hole is to stop digging. And the second is to learn how to breathe while you climb. 10. Stop running from the numbers. The first strategy is painful, and that's why almost no one practices it. Face the real size of your debt. Because as long as you avoid looking, your anxiety grows. And when you finally confront it, you realize the problem was big, but the fear was even bigger. Denial is the strongest fuel for debt. You ignore the bill, postpone the call, delete the email, as if silence could erase interest rates. But money doesn't disappear. It accumulates, extends, and haunts you in the details. Peace begins the moment you face chaos head-on. Writing everything down, amount, date, interest, creditor, is your first act of courage. It's the moment fear stops being a ghost and becomes a plan. Running from the numbers gives them power. Facing them is the first step to taking control back. 9. Replace guilt with responsibility. Guilt is paralyzing. It makes you look back and ask yourself, how did I let it get this far? But what really took your peace wasn't the mistake, it was your attachment to it. Guilt keeps you stuck in pain, while responsibility moves you toward solutions. And the difference between the two is simple. Guilt looks for someone to blame, responsibility looks for a way out. You don't need to punish yourself, you need to take a stand. While you drown in shame over your debt, the financial system profits from your guilt. Because the debtor who feels small pays higher interest, and pays in silence. There is no peace without forgiveness, and the first person you need to forgive is yourself. 8. Negotiate before you panic. Most people wait for chaos to knock on the door before trying to fix things, and by then, it's too late. The truth is, the earlier you start talking, the better your conversation with the creditor will go. The financial system doesn't have empathy, but it does have interest. And if you show willingness to pay, it shows flexibility to negotiate. The most common mistake is thinking that debt can be solved with silence. Silence turns into delinquency. And delinquency turns into a bad credit record, which costs far more than any payment plan. Negotiating isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of maturity. It's saying, I messed up, but I want to make it right. And believe it or not, even banks prefer someone who faces the problem to someone who disappears from it. Final insight: those who negotiate before the collection call take back their power before the system takes it for them. 7. Create a realistic plan, not a financial punishment. The biggest mistake people make when trying to get out of debt is wanting to turn into saints overnight. They cut everything, isolate themselves, go into financial penitence mode, and 2 weeks later, they give up. Discipline born from guilt never lasts longer than a billing cycle. A good financial plan is one you can sustain without suffering. Paying off debt isn't just a math problem, it's an emotional energy problem. If your plan makes you miserable, it won't be sustainable, and no peace survives exhaustion. Build a plan that's possible, not perfect. Maybe it takes a year, maybe 3, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you can walk the path without breaking halfway through. Final insight: paying slowly and in peace is better than paying fast and breaking yourself in the process. 6. Shield your mind before fixing your spreadsheet. You can organize your budget all you want, but if your mind stays in panic mode, nothing will work. Debt isn't just a financial problem. It's an emotional problem with compound interest. And what stops you from escaping it isn't lack of money, it's too much mental noise. When your mind is filled with fear, shame, and guilt, any attempt at control becomes torture. That's why, before you start cutting expenses, you need to regain your balance. Breathe. Talk to someone you trust. Release yourself from the pressure of fixing everything today. Calmness isn't a luxury, it's a survival tool. And those who try to pay off debt with a tired mind end up trading a financial bill for an emotional one. A calm mind is worth more than any lowered interest rate. 5. Truly living below your means. This is the oldest strategy, and still the most ignored. Most people think they live within their means, until they check their statements. Because the real problem isn't the big expense, it's the sum of the small ones. The secret to rebuilding financial stability is simple. It's not about saving pennies, it's about accepting limits. A limit isn't punishment, it's protection. Living below your means doesn't mean depriving yourself of everything. It means relearning how to be satisfied with less. And the more you reduce your lifestyle, the faster you regain the peace that credit once stole from you. You don't need luxury, you need breathing room. Those who learn to live below their income never again live below their dignity. 4. Relearning how to use credit. Credit itself isn't the villain. The problem is the emotional use we make of it. After paying off debt, many people swear they'll never use a credit card again. But sooner or later, it returns, and the cycle begins anew. True financial freedom isn't about avoiding credit, it's about rebuilding your relationship with it. A credit card is a tool. Dangerous, yes, but necessary. And if you don't learn to use it consciously, it'll end up using you again. The rule is simple. Credit should be used to advance payment for something planned, never to cover a hole. Using credit to solve a problem is like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. Credit is neither a villain nor a hero. It's a mirror. It shows whether you've learned the lesson or just changed the debt. 3. Learning to say, "Not yet." This is the final test of financial maturity. Modern life teaches you that you can have everything, right now. But financial peace is born from the opposite, knowing how to wait. The phrase, "not yet," is one of the most powerful in personal finance. Because it breaks the cycle of immediacy, the same cycle that breeds debt. When you learn to delay gratification, you begin to understand the true value of money. Every "not yet" is a seed of stability. And over time, you realize that real achievement isn't buying without thinking. It's having the power to choose when it's truly worth it. Those who master time master money. And those who master neither end up mastered by both. 2. Building an emotional reserve before a financial one. Most people think peace comes when the debt is gone. But those who never learn to deal with fear and guilt remain in debt, to themselves, even after the balance hits zero. Your emotional reserve is what keeps you from falling again. It gives you calm when the unexpected happens, focus when income is delayed, and confidence to say no when impulse screams yes. Before you accumulate money, you need to accumulate self-awareness. Because an unstable emotional state turns any income increase into a new problem. And without mental clarity, even the right money at the wrong time becomes debt. The truest emergency fund is the serenity of knowing you can handle any situation without losing your peace of mind. 1. Redefining what freedom really means. In the end, every debt is born from the same illusion. The belief that freedom is the ability to buy whatever you want. But true freedom is the opposite. It's not needing to buy anything to feel free. Financial peace isn't in your balance, it's in your mind. It's when money stops being a threat and becomes a tool again. When what you owe no longer defines you, and what you have no longer consumes you. Liberation doesn't happen when you pay everything off. It happens when you understand that you'll never again trade your peace for a bit of comfort. And that's when debt loses the only power it ever had, the power to control you. Freedom isn't having everything paid off, it's being able to breathe without owing anything, neither to the bank nor to yourself. In the end, no debt is born by accident. They're born from a dangerous mix of hurry, fear, and silence. And that's why getting out of them requires much more than spreadsheets. It requires self-awareness. People think the opposite of debt is money. But it's not. The opposite of debt is consciousness. Because when you understand the why behind every choice, money stops slipping away and starts obeying. Getting out of the red is a slow, but deeply freeing process. It's about rebuilding trust, reconnecting with time, and relearning how to respect your own limits. And the most beautiful part is that when you learn to handle money with serenity, you realize the most important positive balance isn't in your bank account. It's inside you. Debt teaches patience, responsibility, and humility. It shows you that mistakes are part of the process, but staying stuck in them is a choice. And from the moment you decide to walk toward clarity, every small payment becomes a vote for freedom.